This is my setup. See, I have an easel, and then I have a container that I have my picture in. Under this easel, there's a metal board. I'll show you a picture later that you can get from Hobby Lobby. Then you get this ruler, and that way you can mark with a pencil where you've been. And then all my colors, I have them in bags with a number and the symbol. And then I have this container that I keep my picture in for whatever I'm working on. And that way it'll keep it from getting dirty. And then all my bags are the different colors. The two most common stitches that you will use will be the regular counted cross stitch, which is just the X that you know how to do. And the other one is the half of a cross stitch. And they all go in the same direction. This is 1, 2, 3 lines of them across here. Over here, when I added the outlining, as you can see, the outlining is done similar to embroidery. You put it where you want it to make it look like it's rounded or squared, even though there are not any stitches in there. Because when you finish, you'll see that it does fit the picture. A half of a cross. Whereas his wife has full cross stitches in her. And when I outlined him, there may be places where you won't have a cross stitch, like right here, because the outline is going to go from here up to here. So the outline, how do I explain this? See, it doesn't necessarily always cover a cross stitch. And sometimes it goes over a cross stitch, leaving some of the cross stitch to the outside of it. Down here. So you came across down here, even though this is brown, and this is his foot, peach, but the outline came right to the outside of it. That's why it's hard to tell on your pattern what they're asking for. But if you just do the straight cross stitches, you can always put in your outlining and it will pull it out. Here's the square. A cross stitch, of course, is like this and like that, right? A half across is like this, and that's it. And they all go in the same direction. I believe it's called a quarter stitch. I'd have to look it up, like I said. It's where you would come up here and you would go down here. You would come up here and you'd go down here in the middle of the 4 squares. So I don't know if your pattern is calling for something like that. If it's a beginner's, I would think it would only do this and this. But I'm not sure. So I hope this helps. And then what makes it nice is after you have finished something, you can always embellish it with different things. Like this one. This is footprints. Did the wording. And when you do wording, it's real easy. It's real easy. Because you just follow across and down and across and down and across. That's just, the wording is super simple. These are French knots here. This is just embroidery here. You just kind of go by your eye as to you come up here, you might go down there and come up, go down, come up to make that long stitch. And then to embellish it, to make it look a little more fancy, I got these on Esty, E-S-T-Y, Esty website. And I added those little footprints. Here's your half, and here's your whole. And down here, you can see how I outlined it. And there it went across a brown, a solid brown, which was no big deal. But when you look at it when you're finished, and there it went over some purple, but it just doesn't matter, because when you're all finished, you can really, it really pops out. You can tell what it is. And then up here, this is embroidering these birds. I just went over the top of this blue and followed the holes. This came up here, went down over here. And they're in the picture. Sometimes you just you can look at the picture and you can place it as close as you possibly can. It's not always going to be exact. So, I hope this helps. Thank you. These I found at Hobby Lobby, the magnetic board and the chart holder. Hobby Lobby.